All right, welcome back to another episode, the WMAKP. I don't remember what episode we're on because we've done so many now.
We're not that far in. It's like
I
think this is 12.
Is it 12? Oh, that might sound right. But it's because we do the saying of the month, and this it just sort of adds up.
Hey, by the way, we have a saying of the month. Go watch that.
Go watch that. Yeah, if you want something inspirational.
For January.
Yeah, go check that out.
And December. And November.
But today's theme is changing your teaching style according to kids, the age you are teaching.
According to, huh?
According to.
According to the kids you're teaching.
Yeah, did I say that? I just said that.
Yeah, I know. But you had like a long pause.
It wasn't that long of a pause. Okay.
It was a long pause.
No, it wasn't. Okay. Anyways, so you have to realize that when you are teaching, you have to change the way you talk, your mannerism, your body language.
Well, no. First thing you should start off with, for us in karate, as a karate school, right, we teach a variety of kids, first of all.
A lot.
We teach from kids from the age of 5 all the way up to, parents of the age of 45.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Mm-hmm. We get such a vast range of people to teach. So a 5-year-old will not learn the same way as a 45-year-old. So that's kind of where we're starting off here. And I think, go ahead and continue.
Just the coolest part for me, though, because we could probably say the same thing, is that when you're able to use different skills to teach, I think that's the most fun. When you're able to just every day,
something's a little bit different.
Exactly.
Because repetitiveness is...
Well, I think different might be the wrong way to say it. But I think being able to use different skills in general is fun.
Yeah, because doing the same thing over, it's repetitive. It's mind numbing.
Stale. They get bored of it, and you get bored of it, and you don't feel as motivated.
So the different, it's good to change your teaching style. I mean, you could be teaching the same kid, you can be doing something completely different. Teaching them completely different
every single week.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll start off with this though. What do you think the most comfortable age group it is to teach for you?
For myself,
for yourself.
For myself personally, I always, obviously, what I'm going to school for, the older kids. I feel more comfortable teaching kids that are older in age. Excuse me, choking on my spit. Somebody can go a little bit more in depth with. I can explain a little bit why things are instead of do this, because kind of sometimes you got to do that with little kids. You just kind of do this, but with the older kids, why do we do this? What led us to the point, to teach it like this,
So I think, for me personally, I love teaching the new kids.
First
of all, because they're fresh, they're there to have fun, and you get to have fun with them. I love teaching kids that are brand new. Like, I think for people in the school system, I think having a fresh set of students every year is always good for them because it changes. Of course, I'm not a school teacher, so I don't know. But if there's any school teachers in there, let us know. Stay in the comments below, tweet us or something. But I always think having a fresh set of students is always nice because it changes perspective.
That's the same thing with high school too, like changing students at semester and stuff like that. Yeah. You get a different, everybody has a different perspective on things. Some might be similar, some might be even exactly the same, but it's always a little bit different.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and start off with this. If you are teaching kindergartners, that's not in our age group that we teach. That we used to teach kindergartners.
Yeah,
we used to.
Well, we used to go younger than that.
No, kindergartners.
Was the tiny
tiger was 3,
Is that
4.
how old kids are when they're in kindergarten now?
Isn't that 3, 4 years old?
No, I thought it was like 5, 6.
Oh, yeah, maybe it is. 5, I don't remember, but I know we used to take 4-year-olds in
the tiny tigers.
School, yeah. But I think for me, when I was younger, that was the hardest to teach was the tiny tigers. When I was younger, of course, because I didn't have the skills yet. But I think when you are teaching little kids, like anywhere from 4 all the way up to probably 7 years old, just have fun.
Oh yeah.
You don't need to be stuck. You don't need to be stuck to what you're used to. You just have fun with them.
So for kids that age, concept is not I mean, the concept of things is not that important to them.
No, but if you can do something fun that gets the concept across,
yes,
then that is 100% a win.
Yes, you don't teach concepts to little kids. You teach you have fun and you implement. You implement concepts, right? As you get older,
you have to sort of hide it. You have to just sort of mask it, put it in mist, saying this is what you're supposed to learn. But you're having fun doing it this way. And now you're getting the concept across doing it this other way.
Yep.
So if you can find, as a teacher or as some kind of educator, if you can find a fun way to get that concept across, then you have won.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
now this is the other part. This goes for all ages. You have to build a repertoire with your
repetition.
students.
Repetition is one of the most important.
No, repertoire.
Repertoire?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Rapport, thank you. For some reason, it's repertoire. Rapport. Oh God, it's
rapport. I mean, I'll get into
rapport.
repetition later.
Yeah, yeah.
Rapport with the student, that's
huge.
I mean,
any student, doesn't matter what field you're in, but you have to build a rapport with the person you are working.
I mean,
with.
the best feeling for me is when a kid comes up and wants to tell me about their day, because I know I've built that connection now. That kid is just like, oh, I'm ready to go see. I'm ready to go see my instructor. I'm ready to go see
my teacher. I want to talk
I'm excited.
To them. That means you have built that rapport with that student, and you're just like, okay, good. Now anything I say right now, they'll take it seriously. Yep. So that's really important. But that goes for all age group, even for adults. I think it's even more important for adults to build rapport with when you are teaching. I think them. That's the hardest part.
I mean, adults, we're skeptical.
Yeah,
that's the hardest thing when you're teaching adults. Skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take you at your word for it anymore. Kids will take you at your word for it. I mean, majority of kids will. Some don't.
Yep.
But with adults, they're gonna do their research. They're they're gonna find out. They're gonna be like, I can prove this guy wrong. That's their what's the word for it? I can't remember. I don't remember. But they want to. They don't want to take you at your word for it.
Yeah.
So building that trust there. You got to cement something there that says, hey, I know what I'm talking about. Right. I mean.
We'll come back to the adults here. That's one of the last groups. But the next group in my head is from 8 to like 11, 12, I think, before they turn to teenagers.
6th graders, 6th, 7th graders, around there.
7th graders, 5th, 6th, maybe 7th graders. This is the next group. This is when they're starting to become a teen and want to be independent. That's the hard part. We're starting to get to that point right before they're a teenager, a preteen. This group you're still wanting to have fun with, of course, but then there's also the point of there's that little bit more of the idea of concept you have to throw at them. Something that's a little bit tougher. They have to understand.
They're now functioning.
Functioning.
Let me finish my sentence. They're now functioning at a little bit faster pace. They understand things more. If you give them a detailed concept, right, they'll be like, oh, I kind of get this.
Now,
right?
I don't know if you can do this in the school system. I don't know if you can do this in a school system, but what if you can give harder problems to a kid that's excelling at what you're already doing? Is that possible?
I mean, that's what the advanced programs,
But even the advanced program is boring for some of those kids that understand school a lot more.
A lot of it is, it's more like, kids have to learn the same thing. It's what's it called?
The curriculum?
The Common Core.
Oh, Common Core.
Common Core is probably one of the worst things to ever happen to education. And I know a majority of teachers, educators would agree with that because...
See, I will preach this till I die, is the fact that if you go to the right karate school, right martial arts school, that kid will excel when they need to excel, or they will take their time when they need to take their time.
Yeah.
But we have a common curriculum. It's a common curriculum that we go by.
Yeah.
But the kid can take however long as that she wants, or as fast as she wants.
See, with schooling and stuff like that, that doesn't exist.
I know.
Right?
So why doesn't exist though?
Government regulations.
True, but at the same time, though, why can't the teacher, I mean, of course the teacher's dealing with 30 kids, right? We're dealing with
it's not
10,
only that
15.
they're binded by. I don't know.
Are they sure they're binded though? Maybe
I think it's like they have to be teaching this stuff, because it's all like the standardized testing.
What if even if the kid that excels in the standard core, common core, couldn't the teacher just maybe go out of their way and do a little bit more for that person and give them something that's a little bit tougher?
See,
is that doable?
It is doable, but you're also forgetting the stigma learning has now.
What learning does stigma?
People now, because of schooling, hate to learn. Have you ever thought about it like that? So if you are given imagine
no. You're not just handing them. You're asking them. You're talking to them.
Okay, but think back to when you're in high school. I know you're terrible at math, so we're gonna use that as an example. Think you're excelling fantastically at math. It's a breeze for you. Okay, right? At that time in high school, if I was your teacher and I was to come up and ask you, do you want extra work because you're excelling?
No. But that's you wouldn't ask it that way, though.
No. But that's the way it's going to sound to those kids. Because they're kids. Because they're that young. They're not going to say it.
You're thinking of this at a high school level right now. You're thinking at this as a kid level right now. Think of it as an adult level, how you can word it.
Okay.
Because wording is everything.
Wording is everything, though. But what it comes down to is people hate learning. People hate getting extra. People hate doing anything extra right now.
The child that's excelling is bored in school. So why can't you just go ask them and say, hey, I know you're really bored right now, but would you like, to be trying at this level right now? It's not do you want more homework, but do you want to be trying at this level?
Do you want to be pushed forward? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, I don't know. But if you could word it a better way, then that kid can excel and have won't be bored during class. Because were you ever bored in high school?
Math.
I was bored in all my classes, not because I didn't like math. I barely took math, but like I was bored in all my other classes. I was
bored in all my pre-calc classes.
So I'm just saying the beauty of what we do now is the fact that we can push them as hard as they want or we need to, or they can slow down and we can help them through.
And that's the fantastic thing. That's why the schooling system is just so whack.
That's where this next level comes in, is where the teenagers, they don't want to do anything in general.
This is the age
where we come in and say, hey, this is how we're gonna do it here. But you also have to remember, because they're teenagers, they think they're adults. Make sure you're able to explain everything to them with high vocabulary words. Yep. That way, I'm just saying it is a trick, because
our guy behind the computer is laughing. But one of the probably one of the most articulated people back here, Trace. Why do you use such big words? Is your mic on?
So, like, straight up, it's never something I'm like, I want to use really big words right now. It's just kind of how I think through things, right?
See, there you go.
All right, fair enough.
There you go.
Yeah.
One of the most well-articulated people I know. And he's, 16.
So, I'm just saying, though, if you can help the student in certain ways that can make them not bored and help them excel, then you are doing your job correctly.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree with that. 100%.
So your levels of teaching, adjusting your type of teaching, you have to already learn who the kid is first. And that's where building the rapport comes. When you're walking in, how are they acting? How are they doing? What's their body language like? When they're learning, are they raising their hand? Are they talking to you? Are they talking in general? Are they talking to people?
And are we talking about teenagers here? Everybody?
Even adults.
Even adults. I mean, we saw that, today, I guess. The adults were sitting there talking to each other.
No, you know what's funny, though, saying that? I said this to you one before we started that class, is the fact that, wow, no matter how old or how young you are, if you're in an unknown environment, you will not talk to people. And you have to be forced to talk to people, which is crazy in my mind.
What I saw was the adult students all sitting there talking to each other.
Because they were in that environment already.
And then, there was kids. I saw kids talking to each other, but the parents were standing there just like, I don't know what to do. No, which was pretty interesting to see.
So if you are in that position that you can do that, make sure you are able to build a community that allows everybody to communicate, excel, and make friends at. Yeah. Yes, not everybody will excel the same rate. But if you're able to put that community that each person can help each other, then everybody can excel. But you have to understand that as an educator, everybody cannot excel the same way. Everybody excels at their own pace. Yes, some people can be similar, but everybody will excel at their own pace.
So let's get back to the teens, right?
Right.
So you were talking about, they talk to them like they're adults. They want it,
so you give it to them,
yeah.
and then they will understand like, oh, this is a lot,
and
and then they'll be
part
humbled.
part of that too is, especially when you're teaching teens, you got to scare them a little bit. Yeah,
yes.
right.
Yes.
Because they're like, oh, I'm an adult. I'm all this. Yeah.
I'm tough.
If you scare them into thinking, oh crap, I don't got this. This is not something I'm prepared for. That's when you start building.
Exactly.
That's when the kid starts to trust you. You're like, oh crap, this guy, he knows what he's talking about.
Yep.
Right? Especially for teens. Right? You gotta. I hate saying knock them down. I hate saying that because it's
like
the wrong
knockdown.
It's the wrong word for it.
It is.
It's the wrong phrase. Yeah, go ahead.
The best way to articulate it might just be saying that you're making them a bit more vulnerable.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank
okay.
you, Trace.
Making them feel a little bit more vulnerable.
That vulnerability is very key. That's how you build a rapport with someone. But you
have to be careful how you do it though.
That too. But you as an educator also have to be a little bit vulnerable as well, so that way they know like, oh, this person isn't some kind of demon or something.
Yeah.
Right. So
you have to. It's the age group you have to open up the most to. You have to
next to adults.
Yeah, next to adults. I mean,
but you have to be careful with adults because adults can blackmail you in different ways. So you have to be careful with that.
I mean, that's a different story. John.
That is a different story.
But like for teens, right? You do have to share some of your own experiences.
That reminds me. Sorry, we're going to move on to adults here.
Yeah.
That reminds me. So when I was in Japan. I was offered a day job, just a single day job of helping adults speak English a little bit better.
Oh.
I totally forgot about this actually. I got actually paid quite a bit for only working with them for like 3 hours maybe.
Their English improve?
I gave them skills to practice on their English to improve. Because there's no way someone's English can improve in 3 hours. No, not especially if it's a second language.
Yeah.
But I was working with them, and then because my Japanese isn't like amazing, but I can still talk to them in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to open up to me a little bit more compared to the other person I was working with. She was very nice, but she didn't know any Japanese.
Oh, she only spoke English.
And then English was actually her second language. Oh, so it was really interesting. I was sort of peeking over there her dynamic with the people. And she was going with the book. I was not going with the book. I'm not the person that goes by the book. I hate going by the book. I mean, I pick things from the book, but I'm not the person that goes by the book. Yeah. That's why I can't be a school teacher.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
But I was helping them, and I'm just like, oh, these adults. Okay, right. Because I was, 21
Yeah,
there. I was 2 years younger.
Yeah.
But I was working with them, and then I'm like, oh, that's right. Let's take this like karate real quick. So I was opening up to them a little bit more, how I have a tough time working with this. Let me teach you this real quick. And then we started to banter a little bit more, and then just me talking down to them. It was more like
it was a back and forth.
It was a back and forth thing, and that has to be really important, especially with adults, because adults don't like
they're not
talked down to.
No, so you have to think of it. They're an adult. They've gone through stuff you don't even know.
Exactly.
They've lived their own life, and everybody's life is important. Everybody's experiences are important.
Exactly.
That led them to that point.
Exactly.
Of being wherever they're at.
So it's just so important for you to be able to open up. Even with the younger kids, especially for teaching younger kids, or if parents are watching, you teach the younger kids. You opening up builds a rapport with the parents, anyways. Yep. So but you can't be like 100% vulnerable. There has to be like a layer there. But there's this part where you're just opening up and talking about some of your mistakes maybe, or some your influences, or some things that, you wish you could have done. Talking about your experiences is a way to just open up in general.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I want to go back to a point I brought up
earlier.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to skip to adults before I forgot about that
let's
story.
Go. So we got through all of that. Yeah. That's all of that. But a big part of all of it, too, you have to add on is the repetition part. I said this earlier.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
So,
that's right.
A little bit about repetition. It sucks.
Yeah, it does.
When I'm over there in the corner, especially, I come Wednesdays. I train Wednesdays, and that's kind of like my training time.
Right.
You can see, you watch me over there. I'm sitting over there doing the same thing over and over again. Just like I'm sitting there with I always wear headphones when I train because that's just how I focus. But it's my brain's just going numb, so numb, and you'll just see me sitting there and just staring off into space, just doing nothing because I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I'll get back to it. Right? Repetition is important,
So how are you
it builds muscle memory.
So how are you gonna adapt that to each group now?
For little kids, repetition, right?
Games.
Make games.
Yes.
That have fun,
Yes.
Same for the 11 or 10 to 12-year-olds.
8 to 11.
8 to 11. Games.
Games.
Those kids, they're still young enough where they can do games and stuff like that. For the teenagers,
12 and up.
make them do a little bit of it, right? Make them do it over and over again, but not to the extent you'll make, the adults do it. Because adults, they don't want to play those games or anything like that. They want to do it.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
I'll get into it.
Okay.
For the teenagers, you make them do it over and over again, right? You have them do it. I think 5 is a great number.
5?
5 is a great number because the gold number is 7.
You think 7's
gold
the golden number?
Is 7, right? Gold number for me is in 7. So 7 times a day for 14 days or for 21 days. That's what builds that's what builds, like if you're trying to make good habits.
So you're talking about that one thing 7 times a day for 21 days.
Yes. In 7s, right? So like 7, 14, 21, 28, building off of that. 7's a good number, I think.
I never thought of it that way.
I drop it down to 5 because 7's a lot.
It is a lot.
7 is a lot. You don't have enough time, but 5 is a good number, right? Especially if you give us enough time.
I was thinking 3 or 4 would be a good number.
I like my multiples.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because of, by 5, they're like, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore.
True.
But that's when you switch it up and you do the fun thing, right? Then they're like, oh gosh, I don't have to do it more. Thank gosh. Yeah. Okay, let me go put my energy into this.
Right.
They don't realize they're still doing the same thing.
No, they don't.
Yeah. But you need that thing of, oh God, I don't want to do this anymore. Because they don't, if they get to the point where they're just like, I'm okay with it. That's why I don't like to use 3. Because by 3, they're like kind of fine with it. And they're like,
so I'm gonna change it up on you just a little bit.
Okay.
So you got that drill that
so let's say they're doing kata. Let's say they do kata.
Okay, they're doing some kind of form. They're doing kata. They're doing that. But then you would have to do their kata, but you would do the kata in a different way.
Yes.
And then you would go to a game doing the kata.
Yep.
So I want to add that one in first.
For me, for the way I teach kata, I'll make them do it. There's multiple ways of teaching kata. I think we went over. We haven't quite got.
Not in the podcast, but we've done it through our meetings.
Yeah. There's multiple ways of teaching kata. The most effective way I've found for teaching kata for myself, right, is making them teach me.
Oh, really?
Making them lead me.
You found that was the most effective for you?
Because they're not relying on me to show them exactly what to do. Right? They have to guess. And I'm just, what I enforce into their head, right, is, no, I'm not going to do it next. You got to show me. Right? And if they do it wrong, I'll do the right movement so they can fix it. Right? But they're leading me. I'm not leading them through the kata. Right. Obviously, I am the instructor. I'm the one in charge. But it gives them the idea, oh, I'm leading this instructor through the kata. That's pretty cool. And now they're focused, they're doing the kata, right? But they're having a little bit of fun because they're thinking in their head, I'm leading this instructor through this kata.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
And I mean, it's a lot of it. It's a lot of psychology. Yeah. You're doing a lot of reverse psychology here. You're making them do stuff over and over again, right? Why not make it fun
that's really good.
Entertaining.
I think the most effective way that I've personally found is them doing it on their own.
On their own is really effective
on their
too.
own. I found that the most effective.
No, not on their own. Specifically, on their own in front of a group.
Yes. No, on their own in front of me.
And just in you?
No, in me right now. In front of the group, that's a whole different story.
That's a whole different.
But in front of me,
I think a group. What's a group to you though?
A group to me is 2 or more.
Okay, I was gonna say if I have 2 kids sitting here and one of them doing it up there, that's my group. That's I think that's pretty good for him.
So for me though, I always like to start off with just doing it in front of me, and then it grows from there.
Yeah.
So if you're teaching someone something, it doesn't matter what it is, what you're teaching them, but if they can do it in front of you, then in front of someone that's important to them or a peer, then they can actually do it by themselves. So it's just that level up progress that you have to go with every time you're teaching something. And that goes for all levels. No matter, what age group you're teaching, that goes for all of them.
And last one, adults.
Okay. Adults?
Adults. So
we already talked about adults.
I think repetition is very important for adults because
it's like teaching old dog new tricks.
Yes.
It really is. I mean, I'm not saying that to hurt anybody.
Be mean
but
or
even
anything.
for me,
John,
I have
you're
to
old,
do it.
and you gotta.
Even for me though, I have to do it multiple times because back then I do it like 3-4 times and boom, got it memorized. Now I have to do like 5, 6, 7 times. I'm like, okay, now I have it memorized. Because when we switched up the bunkai, I'm just like,
Yep.
that's literally all it was.
So I mean, that's the thing. Repetition is important but
you have to change the type of repetition.
But also with that, adults don't like to fail. So repetition is also, it can be a harmful thing too.
Yeah.
Right? So
but that's where switching up the repetition comes in. You have to change the repetition.
You have to figure out different ways. It's very difficult to teach adults.
Okay, let's do with this. How would you teach a child 3 times 3?
3 times 3?
Well, 3 times 2.
3 times 2?
How would you teach a child 3 times 2?
For me, right? All right, what's first number? You got 3. Okay? Let's say, just because this is 3 times 2, I wouldn't do this for any other number, though.
No.
Actually, no. It works. I'm thinking about it. So I would take 3. You got 2 3s now. 3 and 3. Right? Put those together. Okay?
No.
But that's how I would start.
I wouldn't do it that way. Hold on, Trace. Hold on. This is what I would do. It makes it simple. Makes the kid understand. Here's 3 Skittles. Now you need more Skittles. Right? So where's the 2 come in? This multiplication means you're doing more of it, right?
Yep.
Because addition, you're just adding on to it. But multiplication, you have to add another set of that number. So I would use Skittles or something that gives them interest. Because if you do something that's theoretical to them, because it's still theory to them, they don't think 3 times 3 has. 3 times 3 has to be 6. It's still theory
math
to them.
Math is theoretical.
So
we have proved this point.
So you have to understand that you have to give them something they like, and then they'll understand because they'll look at it. Then you can tell them, okay, you can eat the Skittles now. But how many Skittles do you just eat? They say 6. Good. That means what's 3 times 2? 6. Good. Now you do 3 times 3. Okay, what's 3 times 3? And here's 3 Skittles. Okay, well then where's the 3 coming? And they do like maybe this. I'm like, nope, not quite. You can't eat the Skittles this time. Let's try it again. And just do that because it's something they like and something they want to eat, so their brain will trigger a little bit more.
Okay.
So that's how I'll do it. Trace, it looks like you have something you want to say?
Go for it.
Okay, yeah. So I think we'd add on to your idea.
Okay.
Right. You give 3 Skittles, and then I'd ask, would you rather have 2 more Skittles, or would you rather have your amount multiplied by 2?
Yeah. Okay.
That's a fun way to
And
do it.
and then I'll say you want the most amount of Skittles.
You want most amount. We're getting into math probe. So
No, so this is why I'm bringing it up, though. This is why I'm bringing it up. Because you just pulled out a theoretical thing, right? Gives them abstract numbers.
Yeah.
We pulled out Skittles.
You got physical.
Physical.
I did abstract. You guys went physical.
Now, how can you bring that physical to an abstract? That's where the connection comes. That's just like any other thing you're teaching. You have to build up from the physical to the abstract. It's like saying kata. Okay, you turn down block punch, turn to front, down block punch 3 times.
Yep.
Kata daichi, right?
That's the abstract right
That's
there.
the abstract part there. The fact that you're saying it out loud. The
Yep.
physical part is them actually doing it and explaining what each move means.
Yep.
So, I mean, you have to understand that there is the abstract and then there's the physical. You need both.
Yep.
You can't just teach one. So, okay, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up. We can go on forever about abstract and physical stuff in our talk. But okay, so first thing first, you have to build a rapport. Rapport is important. Second thing, you have to be able to build a rapport with all the age groups, not just one, but all of them. That's your goal.
Know what age group you're teaching.
Yep.
Is big.
Number 3 is the fact that you're teaching. The younger you're teaching, the more fun you have to have. You cannot be rock. You cannot be, like serious the whole time. You have to have fun the younger you are. Number 4, you have to build repetition and different kinds of repetition. Not just one, not just 2, but multiple kinds of repetition.
Find a baseline. Find where kids don't want to do it anymore and go to that.
And then 5, build the abstract and the concrete.
Use abstract and physical means to teach.
Yeah. Okay? And that goes with all of them, especially for young kids. Young kids love physical, not abstract, but they love physical. So, All right, that is it for us. Hopefully this was actually turned out to be a really fun episode for us. So if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button. And then if you're following us on Spotify, don't forget to hit that follow. And then don't forget to
next episode we should do a fun one. Let's do a fun one like we did with Trace.
Okay.
Okay. We'll figure that out.
We'll do something out. But anyways, follow us on all the social media if you can. That'll be great for us. That means we can watch short clips on there and stuff like that.
Hey, we got a clips channel.
Hopefully in the next episode we can get Sensei Maro back on here again. I got a really concept in my head. I hope he gets back on.
Yeah.
But that is it for us. Thank you so much. See you guys in the next one.
Later.
Peace out.